about time management. So in the spirit of time management and respecting you guys' time, we are just going to go ahead and jump in it. So let's see. So what is time management and why is it important? So Cambridge Dictionary gives us this definition: the practice of using the time that you have available in a useful and effective way, especially in your work. And so I've bolded a couple words that I think I would like to talk about with you guys. First being practice. No one is perfect at time management, and we all prioritize and manage our time in different ways, right? I'm not perfect, your instructors aren't perfect, your classmates aren't perfect, and this is why I love that they use practice here. The tips and tricks that I'm going to go over with you today will help you be better at time management, but it takes practice, right? You will not be good at this overnight. Keep practicing and working towards your goals, and you will get results. Next, we have useful and effective. And these are the words that we want to describe in which the ways that we have our time, right? We want our time to be spent on schoolwork to be effective and yield a useful outcome. So next, I'm going to show this video, and I think it's an awesome video that kind of overviews time management for college students. And then we're going to go into detail a little bit more about most of the topics that it covers.
Welcome to this video on time management for college students. First, why do we need to manage our time effectively? Well, to achieve goals, be efficient, gain a sense of control, gain a sense of balance, reduce stress, give time to the important parts of our lives, make smarter choices, and last but not least, enjoy life. So consider this. There are 168 hours in a week. This chart shows the average amount of hours per week college students spend on various activities. Notice the amount carved out for studying, averaging at 10 hours a week. That's too low. Here we see a typical first semester college student in an engineering program with 15 credits. So this student should multiply the number of credits by 2 or 3 for how much to study per week. That works out to be 30 to 45 study hours per week. And that's not counting the in-class time. So let's start again with 168 hours a week to find out how much time we really have. If we sleep 8 hours a day, that's 56 hours a week right there. Then about 21 hours to get ready and eat, etc. 15 hours in actual class. And let's put in 30 hours just for studying. That gives us a huge chunk of 46 hours left in a week. Think about how you spend that time, including, for example, commuting, exercising, working, on social media, relaxing, texting, or socializing. One way to get a sense of where your time goes is to fill out a wheel of productivity. You start with a wheel of 24 hours with different tasks that will fill up time. Then color in what your day looks like. This gives a great visual of what a typical day looks like for you. So let's talk about 6 steps to better time management. Number 1, create a set of schedules. Number 2, set goals. 3, utilize your time wisely. 4, avoid time wasters. 5, don't make excuses. And 6, get motivated. Okay, so let's talk about creating schedules. So first, start with a master calendar. This could be a traditional planner, an app on your phone, or an email calendar like Google. Then in this master schedule, start plugging in your class and lab times first, assignments, exams, fixed activities like working, social plans. Also make room for longer series like writing papers and studying for exams. Then, evaluating your schedule, you may wish to input appointments, plans for other projects, and etc. Then plan on reviewing your calendar at night or in the morning and make a daily task to-do list, ideally with the ability to strike things off as you go. For example, Google Calendar has a to-do list built in with its calendar app. Now let's talk about SMART goal setting to make sure you get everything done that you've organized for yourself. That means to be specific with your goals, that you can measure progress, that are realistically attainable, relevant, and timely. When first filling out the basics of your schedule, be sure to utilize free time productively. For example, with study sessions, reviewing notes, pursuit of hobbies or exercise, laundry and chores, and certainly fun with friends and family. Avoid time wasters like TV, oversleeping, mindless internet surfing, allowing your phone to distract you, or social media. The Eisenhower decision matrix is a clever way to tackle how to prioritize between what's important to focus on now and what to put off. You have 4 boxes, the important row with urgent and not urgent, and then the not important row with needing immediate attention, or both not urgent and not important, like time wasters and such. You'll put the top left square into your daily to-do list while reviewing your calendar. Find time for the lower left box, like laundry or chores, and ensuring the lower right box doesn't eat up much time. Now let's talk procrastination. So let's say you're combating putting projects off. The task is overwhelming. Break it down. The task is tedious. Focus on the end goal. Don't know where to start? Pick anything and begin. Lack of skill. Get comfortable seeking help. Contact your TA, speak with your peers, research tutorials, go to the math help place, etc. And very importantly, don't make excuses. Don't say you'll do things after today, or after I get more organized, after a long nap, after this show, after I text some. Social media, internet browsing. Putting things off until tomorrow has a snowball effect, resulting in never completing a project or scrambling right before a deadline. Here are some tips and tricks to be mindful of. Learn to say no. Keeping to a schedule is a habit and a skill. It may take several weeks of practice to get it right and feel on top of your busy semester. Always be conscious of deadlines to avoid becoming overwhelmed. Exceptions will occur, but always return to your calendar. Some things to remember. Be sure to reward yourself. Fight entropy. Catch yourself when you become distracted. Plans don't always go accordingly. Make room for exceptions. Time management is a skill. It takes time to perfect. And hard work always pays off. Now let's talk about a mental hurdle to overcome. The fudge ratio planning fallacy. Basically, we afford ourselves an illogical optimism bias. People almost always underestimate the time needed to get something done. When envisioning completing a goal, we assume a best case scenario, whereas realistically, things take longer with ebbs and flows. So try this out, for example, with completing, say, a study guide for a chemistry exam coming up. You'll estimate it'll take 60 minutes to finish. In reality, let's say it takes 90 minutes to complete the study guide. 90 divided by 60 equals 1.5 times longer. So divide actual time by your optimistic estimated time, and that gives you the fudge ratio. So when planning a task to complete, multiply your estimated time by 1.5 to get a more realistic timeline. Like writing a paper, for example, there's a lot of back and forth to get it right, and more revision and editing than you anticipate as a best guess. So give yourself more time in your planner. Well, that concludes this video. I hope it provided helpful tips to gain efficiency, meaning, and happiness out of your time. Thanks for watching.
All right, so next we are going to go over our agenda. So we just have a couple items that we're going to go over today. First, starting off with organization, then SMART goals, timeline and deadlines, procrastination, distraction, the Pomodoro technique, channeling your stress, and then setting rewards. So organization. 2 of your best options in organizing your responsibilities are paper planners and Google Calendars. So paper planners. This is a traditional way of keeping your class schedule, assignments, and personal times together, right? These come in a multitude of different forms, so hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, vertically, horizontal, and of course a mixture of all of these forms. You need to understand which style fits your needs and your style of organization. So what are some advantages and disadvantages? The main advantage some find in paper planners is that they do not need like electricity or taking electric cords around for recharging. And some people find it easier to read and locate information in a paper format rather than scrolling on the screen where you're going to be scrolling up and down and clicking in and out, and just things get lost in the mix sometimes on the computer. A disadvantage to paper planners, however, is that they become messy and depending on your handwriting and changing due dates and canceling plans. So whiteout helps here, but I would recommend go ahead and like using a pencil rather than a pen. So then we have Google Calendars, and this is actually my personal preferred method. And I would also start off strong, like using a paper planner, and then completely forget about it like 3 or 4 weeks in. So this is why I like Google Calendar. Many students, faculty, staff link this calendar to their computers and to their phones. So this allows them to add meetings and goals to either their phone or computer without having to go and add it into the other calendar later. It also has the advantage of allowing sharing views for your computers to help with like meeting times and whatnot. So advantages and disadvantages to this. So an advantage in using electronics, especially phones, is that it's easy to change like test and assignment due dates and adjust like your professor's schedules and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about remembering it to add it to your calendar later. And then finally, my favorite advantage is if you have the app, then it actually sends you notifications before you have a test or class or an assignment due. But a disadvantage is that you need to keep your phones and computers charged. So obviously, if your devices are dead, then there's no way of checking your schedule and your assignments that are due. So next, we're going to talk about goals and why they're important. So first, time is limited. No matter how you slice it, there are only 24 hours in a day. And if you want to optimize your time, you have to manage this limited resource, right? So 2, you can accomplish more with less effort. When you learn to take control of your time, you improve your ability to focus. And with increased focus comes enhanced efficiency because you don't lose momentum just as easy. 3, improved decision-making abilities. When you feel pressured for time and have to make a decision, then you're more likely to jump to conclusions without fully considering every option, right? And that leads to poor decision-making. Through effective time management, you can eliminate the pressure that comes from feeling like you don't have enough time. You'll start to feel more calm and in control, and when you're able to do that, you diminish your chances of making a bad decision. So 4, become more successful in your classes. Time management is the key to success. If you are able to set goals in your classes, and your work you'll have better work produced and ultimately more successful in your classes. 5, it'll help reduce your stress. When you don't have control of your time, it's easy to end up feeling rushed and overwhelmed. And when that happens, it can be hard to figure out how long it's going to take to complete a task. Once you learn how to manage your time, you're no longer subjecting yourself to that level of stress. And then finally, self-discipline is valuable. When you practice good time management, you leave no room for procrastination. The better you get at it, the more self-discipline you learn. And this is a valuable skill that will impact other areas of your life where lacking discipline has kept you from achieving your goal. So now we're going to talk about SMART goals. So the S stands for choosing specific goals. Outline exactly what you want and what you want you and your goals to be and how you intend to reach them. M is to remind you to make your goals measurable. Give them a time limit and develop a system that will allow you to know when a goal is satisfied. This is critical in making your goal a part of time management. A, remind us to make sure the goal is attainable. If you determine a goal is not attainable, then you will not be able to break it down into smaller goals to make sure the job is done. R, the R means that you need to keep the goal realistic. Set goals that are likely to be able to achieve in a realistic amount of dedication. And finally, T. The T stands for the time frame you need to get the job done. Give yourself a deadline to complete those goals, and this will help you keep track of the time that you need to set your next goals. So, talking about timelines, that is next on our agenda. So, creating timelines. It is important to create a timeline for your goals and assignments so that you can have a clear guide of what you need to complete and when, right? This will increase your chances of completing the assignment since you will break it down into more manageable parts. And this is especially recommended for larger, scary assignments. So things that are due like semester long assignments and things that are due at the end that the professor gives you like the very first day, and then you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing it off. And then the last couple weeks, it's big and scary, right? So we want to make sure we have an effective timeline for that. With the timeline, you should also incorporate a deadline. And this could be the actual due date for the assessment or a general guide of when you want to complete the task. And I always recommend setting your time deadline for at least 1 day before the assignment is due, if not potentially a couple of days, because you could have some delays that come up that you need to work on. So having a project timeline for each specific project will help you deliver on time and focus on top priorities. And these 5 steps can help create foolproof project management timelines. Define your project goals, write down important dates, decide on the time frame, get to work so that everyone in your group gets on the same page, report, analyze, and improve. So next we're going to talk about procrastination. So why do we procrastinate? Procrastinate is driven by a variety of thoughts and habits, but fundamentally we avoid tasks or put them off because we do not believe that we will enjoy them and want to avoid making ourselves unhappy, or we fear that we won't be good at them and won't do them well. People may also procrastinate when they are confused about the complexity of a task or when they're overly distracted or fatigued. So now I want to hear from you guys. This is a fun graphic about the different types of procrastinators, and I'm going to go down and read them and cover them, and then I want you to pick which kind of procrastinator you are, and since there's only a couple of us, we can just unmute and share. So we have the cleaner. So before you can do anything, you have to do a load of laundry, unload the dishwasher. You guys are in the dorm, so it might be like dusting or like picking up the room or, sweeping or something like that. Then we have the panicker, the person who waits till the last minute and then just freaks out. Then we have the list maker. And those people typically spend more time making the list than they do actually doing the work. Then we have the internet researcher, the snacker, the gamer, the napper, the sidetracker, the social sharer, the watcher, the delegator, and the perpetuator. So for me, you can definitely be many of these things. So I'm definitely a list maker. Like I was saying earlier, I will take longer to make the list than to actually do the work. I'm also a little bit of a snacker. And then I'm also a perpetuator. So it would be like, oh, well, I was supposed to start that 30 minutes ago, but now I only have 30 minutes to go. So I might as well just put it off till tomorrow. So I want to hear from you guys. What are y'all's procrastination skills that you have up here?
Okay, so I think I'm a snacker, a napper. I know I'm a social sharer, and then I'm probably a perpetuator too.
I would say I'm the napper, the perpetuator, and the panicker.
I think I'm the napper, the sidetracker, the watcher, and the panicker.
All right. Yeah. So I'm definitely, I will do all that I can to procrastinate. So this is funny. And I think it's just it's funny to realize what you are and just kind of accept it and then be like, okay, well, here's the plan of how we're not going to be like this anymore. So to get rid of distractions, here are a few tips that can help you minimize distractions. Silencing alerts to keep the internet tabs to a minimum. So if you're on your phone, if your phone keeps lighting up or vibrating or dinging, it's going to be hard for you to concentrate. And then also if you have Pinterest or ESPN pulled up on your tabs, you're definitely going to want to look at those. I know that if I have my Pinterest tab pulled up, then I'll be looking at plants all over Pinterest. So I need to make sure that's closed out. 2, use music and headphones to cut down on noise. So music without lyrics and a steady beat can help keep distractions at bay. 3, find the best environment for effective studying. So here on campus, that would be the library or the Grove, or if you have study rooms in your residence halls, those would be those kind of places. 4, clean up and organize your workspace. So clutter distracts us and puts us in a bad mood. So make sure to keep your desk or workspace clean. And then reward yourself for your accomplishments. Rewarding yourself for meeting goals is important. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I have one more video for you guys on the Pomodoro technique, and then we'll talk about it just a little bit afterwards.
Is the Pomodoro technique. This is a Pomodoro. This is a Pomodoro timer. This is the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a simple yet very effective way to improve your work and study habits. The basic requirement of this technique is to set the kitchen timer to 25 minutes. But this is just the beginning. In order to become a certified Pomodoro master, you need to achieve the following 6 objectives. First, find out how much effort an activity requires you by monitoring how many Pomodoros you need in order to accomplish a specific task. Second, learn to protect your Pomodoro from the internal and external interruptions. Third, make accurate estimations of how many Pomodoros you need for a certain activity. Fourth, use your Pomodoro time not just to work on your task, but spend a few minutes for recap and the last ones for review. Fifth, set a timetable according to your to-dos, to your time, or even to the season. This is good for organizing work and also for creating more free time. Sixth, once you have completed these objectives, find your own personal objectives, such as being more efficient or improving the quality of your work. For example, a writer can track more accurately what he's doing during a Pomodoro, or a team may want to find out how good its cooperation is. But remember, you have to choose your own final objective. In order to achieve the best results, the objectives should be done incrementally. In other words, if you didn't complete an objective, don't move ahead to the next one. Continue trying to do better with the current objective until you feel that you've mastered it. For more in-depth tips, read the original book, record your progress, and become a certified Pomodoro master. PomodoroTechnique.com. I'm in love.
All right, so let's see. So the Pomodoro technique, I think it's really a great way to manage your time. So first, you're going to start by making a list, limiting your distractions, and getting to work. Secondly, you're going to work in 4 separate 25-minute intervals. Third, you're going to, after each 25-minute interval, rest for 5 minutes. And then once you have 4 25-minute intervals, then you're going to rest for like 15 to 30 minutes to give yourself like a little reward. And then 4, once you complete your goals, call it a day, and then do it all again tomorrow. So next we're going to talk about channeling your stress. So we're going to talk about this in 3 different forms. So we have your mental stress, physical stress, and emotional stress. So for your mental stress, I would recommend like lighting a candle, limiting caffeine, practicing mindfulness and meditation, and then enjoying your favorite book. For physical stress, you can make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're getting exercises to boost those serotonin levels, make sure your nutrition is in check because everything that we put in our body affects us. And then you can also practice yoga and deep breathing. For emotional stress, talk it out, watch a funny YouTube video, laugh it out, see a counselor, or color and draw. And if you're having trouble doing these things by yourself, we do have resources on campus to connect you with. So we have places like the Counseling Center, so they can help you with your emotional stress. So if you need to talk to a counselor or join a group session, they would be a great resource to reach out to. And then you also have the William McGee Center for AOD and Wellness Education, and they focus on all of these different elements of wellness. So mental, physical, and emotional are just a few. And they have consultations if you would like to talk to a student peer about some things that you're going through. And then they also have a bunch of resources on their Instagram and things like that for you to look over. So next we're going to talk about setting rewards. So I want to hear from you guys again. What are some ways that you like to reward yourself after like a long study session or you meet one of your goals? So if y'all want to just unmute again, and how do you like to reward yourself?
I like to go get myself a meal because I feel like I've been deserved it.
Yes, absolutely. After a long study session, I'm like, give me something sweet. I earned this chocolate pie. What are some other ways that you guys reward yourself?
Well, I like to go to sleep. Like I love to, like I sleep a lot, so that makes me feel.
Awesome. That's great. That's one of those coping skills that we just talked about. So perfect.
I'll probably buy myself something, like something I've been wanting for a while.
Yep, I'm definitely bad about that as well. We'll reach a goal and be like, okay, I can go to the store and shop now. Yes, I love those. I definitely resonate with all of those. So those are awesome. So let's see, academic support programs for, so I want to talk to you about academic support programs under the Center for Student Success and First Year Experience. And if you need any help with time management, study skills, test preparation, or anything else school related, the academic support programs is here to help. And they can provide resources for other departments, videos, consultations for your academic needs. And here is their email, phone number, Instagram, and where they're located in the brand new Johnson Commons. So let's see. And that is all that I have for you guys. So I am going to